Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to be taking on the Battle of the Wits challenge for the Fighting Legend Goku GT Edition event. So in terms of team build, we've gone with double Battle of the Wits category lead LR, Vegeta and Goku units. Both of these units can transform into a Vegito, but we're probably not going to utilize that unless we're really trying to take out, like, you know, the final stages of Goku and we're just trying to go for raw damage and need a heal. Generally speaking, we're going to avoid that situation and we're just going to focus in on keeping them in their first state, because they're actually better defensively in their first state. They have 30% damage reduction and they also raise their defense on their super and have a medium chance of additional. So most of the times they'll have adequate defense throughout the course of the event. So we're going to want to try and keep it that way. Then for the rest of the team, we have Piccolo, the physical Piccolo. Obviously always a good choice when you can use him. Not only does he provide a heal each turn, which is great, 7% heal, but he also raises his defense and provides the ability to see super attacks, which is always super helpful. Then we have the transforming Trunks. He will raise his defense every single turn with his super. He gains ki every turn, he gains attack and defense every turn for like 7 turns. And in a tight situation we can maybe use his active skill to transform. And then of course also we have the strength Android 18. We're going to be able to use her because she recently got her easy A and her defense can get to quite a decent clip. She can get to 330 or so 1,000 defense, you know, in the right situations if she double supers. We're going to have the free-to-play Vegeta and Krillin exchange unit as well. They're going to be able to assist us mainly, you know, just by being a solid option. And of course we have the physical Kid Trunks. He's going to be the final unit on this team. He's going to stack his defense to a decent height as well. He'll be a solid like unit. Him and Android 18 are going to be able to tank pretty decently. Obviously a lot of these units, if they catch a super attack from the wrong unit or something like that, you know, from the wrong version of Goku, they are going to like obviously die or give us problems, but you know, at the same time that is just one of those things. So this team overall should be fine. We might cut it a bit close, we might not. The ideal situation is that you are able to get the Piccolo to stack as quickly as possible. You also want to keep the Android 18 and the physical Kid Trunks on the main rotations. This is just going to basically allow them to essentially you know, keep their defense stacked to its max possibility, well, at least to a really high possibility, because remember they gain attack and defense for 6 turns each. So being able to maintain those stacks constantly is going to help you out. And then also you're going to also want to focus on obviously Tech Trunks, maintaining his stacks, getting his stacks up. You're going to want him to super as much as possible so that he can build that defense. Generally his defense is okay if you float him a couple times, but you are going to want to focus on him as much as possible. The Goku and Vegeta units you're going to want to keep on rotation, just floating and being able to use their damage reduction and keeping them out of harm's way. And then Krillin, basically as soon as you can, try and transform him into Vegeta. That'll be your best bet, so if you can get that relatively soon into the fight, it's better. If you can't get that soon into the fight, if you're not able to utilize it, you might want to consider leaving him as Krillin and Vegeta, just for that evasion to kick in. Either way, they should be fine as long as they make it to the final stage, because they are in type, will be able to handle the damage from the full power SS4 Goku. So it's not the absolute end of the world if you are, you know, still using them if they're not able to transform, etc, etc. So you should be more than fine. You don't need to worry about it too much, and this team will get the work done. Obviously, in terms of free-to-play units, we're only really using the Krillin and Vegeta, but they're still a really solid unit, obviously given to us by the 350 million download celebration. So that is really cool from that aspect. So yeah, obviously here we are taking on the AGL Goku. We'll probably start skipping ahead through the Gokus now, just so you can, see how all the units do against all the various types of Goku. But obviously you don't need to watch the full footage. Like, some of these runs are 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You don't really need to see the full footage. Like 2 rotations of each, version of Goku, I guess, unless they die super quickly, will be your best bet. As you can see, we're obviously keeping good old Android 18 on the rotation as much as we can. We've got Kid Trunks here doing a lot of heavy lifting. Him and Android 18 really getting their damage up quite well, and obviously with their damage going up, their defense also gets to a decent clip. They both will sit before their final super at around 220 to 260, depending on if they've double supered and things like that before. So after they super, they are sitting around at 300k mark. I think Trunks is even higher. So you don't need to panic too much. They will be able to carry the workload in terms of their defense, but they're just not going to be able to survive super attacks, right off the bat. And that's common for most units against, levels of power like full power GT Goku. There's just not much you're able to do about it. Like, he is super strong. Like, that's just what he is. So just be aware of that and make sure that you have your items and you try and place your units as appropriately as possible. Obviously, against phases like Int, SS4 Goku, you're going to want to try and get Trunks to take the majority of attacks, whereas you don't want Android 18 to. In this situation, you want Android 18 to. So it's just one of those things. Piccolo will get decent defense, and he'll be able to tank somewhat okay, but it's just going to really depend on how lucky you get with additionals and that. But make sure you get same type orbs throughout the fight. You will be able to heal. Piccolo won't be able to transform, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a shame, because obviously a transform Piccolo would be fine, but none of the other Piccolos that I have realistically are viable enough options. They don't stack their defense quite high enough. So that is something to keep in mind. As you can see, we've had Tech Trunks floating. He's still going to float. Like I said, his defense, he's one of those units whose defense will get to a decent clip just by floating. He's not going to be someone you have to specifically target. If you do want to keep him stacking as high as possible, then you can. You just stick him next to Piccolo. But just know you will have key problems for Piccolo, so try and prioritize orbs for him, because that's going to help you out the most. Here's the giant big monkey. He's very irritating. A lot of people don't like this part because it is quite a big step up in damage. He does do quite a fair chunk of damage. As you can see though, Trunks here will tank double digits, which is really good for a physical type unit against this great ape monkey boy. So yeah, pretty decent showing from Trunks there. Obviously this is his biggest hurdle. After here, you'll fight into SS4 Goku, and then of course you will take on the Tech full power Goku. So this is the biggest hurdle, mainly just because obviously you have the issue of having essentially 2 physical units, one being Piccolo and one being physical Trunks. Now fortunately Piccolo is kind of always covered, because he can at least see super attacks. Anything else is going to be a little bit of a problem, so just bear that in mind. Trunks, the kid one, you're going to need a little bit of luck unless he's somehow next to Piccolo, which shouldn't really happen because again he should be on main rotation. But yeah, both of them will survive, or should survive at this point, and not take too much damage. Piccolo getting additional super attacks will help him not take that damage, but other than getting supered on them, you should be fine. They'll be able to hold their own. Krillin as well. Unfortunately, if he hasn't managed to evade enough attacks just yet, should be fine defensively. I'm not going to say he's going to be an absolute rock, but yeah, So we'll jump ahead here now to the int version of the fight. Obviously at this point, we've got Piccolo, who's going to have a decently high defense. You can see he starts really healing us up big time from those orbs. And then we also have the Goku and Vegeta units still rolling around. I've got the 100% friend unit that's been on main rotation with Piccolo for quite a while. Obviously, you know, that is somewhat of a benefit. But yeah, realistically, you know, you should have both of those guys floating, but it's okay to have 100% one chilling in main rotation. Like, it will be fine. It's not the end of the world. So yeah, pretty good. Obviously this is the part where you can kind of control things and, you know, use units like Piccolo, who have now stacked quite a bit, and his ability to see super attacks. And because this is the int portion of the fight, I highly suggest you use Piccolo. A, to just obviously try and diminish the amount of damage that you're going to take quite severely, but also just, you know, allows you to gain those extra turns that you're going to need, you know. Trunks here, he will have stacked to a decent height by now, but you do need to be aware that int typing, or just disadvantageous typing in the things like LGEGT and that, are a massive problem for you know, for units in this event. Like, you can have 300k defense, but if you don't have damage reduction, you get hit by a type disadvantage super, you're still gonna probably end up killing you. So you're gonna end up, you know, losing. So yeah, it's definitely something that you do need to be aware of. You do need to keep control of, and yeah, just always keep it in mind that type disadvantage supers are not going to end well for you. They're not things you can take in this event, especially in these last two stages. Like in the beginning, sure, maybe if you've somehow managed to outstack the unit or you're super strong, but against Int Goku and against full power Goku, you're just not going to have that strength and ability. So yeah, definitely quite difficult. I mean, as you can see here, we're gonna get hit right on the top of the head with a you know, type disadvantage super. We had a Wits active. I did pop one before showing you these two turns. So yeah, that is something you do need to be aware of. And then yeah, we finally get to the tech full power Goku. So this is obviously the final hurdle of the challenge. So definitely was quite difficult. You do need to be aware of some of these units. Some of these units can get you killed. It's just one of those things. Trunks, we switched on to main rotation at the beginning of the tech fight so you can continue stacking his defense, and that does help. So yeah, we definitely will keep things ticking over quite relatively well. Obviously at this point we don't really have a unit that can purely soak up damage and things like that. We do need to be aware that, you know, at this point you're still going to take a lot of damage. Like Piccolo right there had like 600k defense. He's still taking 130k damage from a super. So just be mindful of these things. There are certain units that will get you killed, or pretty much will kill you. Units like the Trunks, units like the Android 18. If you are fortunate, you can obviously use you know, the transformation or the exchange between Krillin and Vegeta, and you can allow Vegeta to come in. That will ramp up your damage a little bit, which is always a nice little bonus. And Vegeta also will tank decently after a couple supers, or a little bit more decently, and he also tanks better than Krillin at this point, especially if he gets hit by an attack, if he is in the third or second slot. As long as he can get his super off, he'll be more than fine. And we'll even finish it up with Vegeta here. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Battle of the Wits. The team obviously is pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. The Majin Vegeta and Goku unit is going to be one that you're desperately going to need. But the best performers were units like Tech Trunks, the physical Piccolo, because they were the best defensive units, and the ability to force these super attacks really helped. But that's going to be it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments down below how many challenges you have managed to complete. But as always, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye!